Okay, well, I just did this live stream and I did it to my personal Facebook page, and I meant to do it here. Technology. So hopefully it's uh, it's coming on. Yeah, there it is. All right. I spent like 8 or 9 minutes chatting, which is totally fine. I'm going to do it again here because I usually share this stream over to my personal page, which I don't really even use that much. Um, so happy 4th of July, everybody. And there's a, yeah, thanks, Jim. Jim was on the other one. Um, there's there's a link within Ecamm, which is this software which I love because you can stream high definition. The image. How's the image for you guys? Is it good? Um, like high definition? Is it cool? So there's a link where you can stream to different platforms: YouTube, Periscope, and any page on Facebook, and it automatically syncs with your Facebook, all of your accounts. So I clicked something and it went to a different page. So happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day. And I read a quote that I had posted earlier. I sent it out in my newsletter. If you haven't done so, you can sign up for it. And it's also here on my social media page. And it's a quote from the Dalai Lama. And he says, "Without freedom, creativity cannot flourish. The right to freedom is crucial to progress in any society, and the context is having a sense of global responsibility." The Dalai Lama, the 14th Dalai Lama, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. And what I love about that is that last line. The context is having a sense of global responsibility. And we as artists, or the artists that I speak to, this is our opportunity. This is what we do. We reach and we communicate with people. And I truly feel that when we step back and we have an exterior viewpoint on things, we can really see differences and we can see an opportunity. We can see the ability to affect positive change and bring people together. And as I was saying earlier on this other stream, is like you can see the images when we go into space and they're taking images from space, from the space station, and you just see this blue orb, this little ball hanging in space. You can't see borders or boundaries or even people. Maybe with a satellite they zoom in and they can, the crazy whatever, they're going to track us. But the point is that we're all spinning on this globe, this ball. And my daughter asked me this morning, she said, "Do you think that we're the only species like in all the universes?" And my answer is no, I don't. I don't know what your viewpoint is. I have no proof, obviously. But when I think about it, and I've thought about this since I was a little kid, with all the universes and all the solar systems and all the stars and all the planets, I think it's kind of myopic to think that we are the only species that has evolved to some sort of sentience. And again, I got no proof of that unless I sit on the other stream. Maybe I do. Like Men in Black, you're passing people who are aliens you just don't even know. Be that as it may, the idea that we are individualized and the idea that Amber Jones, how are you, my friend? I saw you, Deanna posted some pictures of you guys. I miss you. The idea that we are the only, here's the deal. When you think about independence, I'm independent. And when we look at the world today, I truly feel that we are getting stuck in the me, right? Not everybody, obviously. It's, I need to survive. I need to make money. I need to do this. I need to feed my family. And yes, that is absolutely true. But when we do that to the exclusion of other viewpoints, we become exclusively independent and dependent. And so on this Independence Day, as I read that quote from the Dalai Lama, when we start to think of ourselves as a global species, that what I do affects something that's happening in Germany, could. Your choices, your actions. What we do in America affects Japan. What something happens in Japan affects Canada. The people in Canada. We are one species. And great story from Camelot that I shared earlier when Arthur was flying over, Merlin used to change him into animals to teach him lessons. Would that we could do that, right? But you can close your mind and you can envision this. I mean, close your eyes and you can envision this in your imagination and actually be there. He was flying over England as a bird, and there were no boundaries. There was nothing that separated country from country. Even if there was a wall, it was not earthly made. Eventually, that wall will decay. The Great Wall of China, will be there. I mean, you see the wall from East Germany, West Germany. Eventually, things will come down. They'll break apart. So the base lesson here is that we are all together. If I was born in Australia, I would be Australian. If I was born in Canada, I'd be Canadian. And people who are born in other countries and then parents move to another country, let's say someone's born in Australia, but the parents moved to Brazil when they were 2. That person's now Brazilian. Does this make sense? So we're all one, guys. And so the idea for me of true independence comes when we are working together for freedom for all. All. And that's why I love that quote from the Dalai Lama. Without freedom, creativity cannot flourish. It can't. Because we are stuck. We're stifled. Look right now what's going on. We're all my artist friends. They're not flourishing. They're not flourishing because they don't have the freedom, and I mean this in a literal sense, to go out and make money in their jobs. Because the jobs don't exist. They can't work right now doing what they normally do. So creativity needs to grow and flourish. We can create in a situation where there's no Broadway. I mean, you go back early times, right? Even not early, but I mean Shakespeare. They traveled. They set up a cart. They performed. You could technically, I guess, still do that during this pandemic. There's social distancing. You have 1 or 2 people. They come. They social distance the people. Make sure it's okay. They perform. I mean, I guess technically you'd do that. Traveling performers. The point is not that. The point is the global responsibility creates independence. Because if you're able to stand as a being and accept someone else's viewpoint, even though it might be an opposing viewpoint of yours, that creates independence for you and for them. Because you're listening and you're able to talk. I had a conversation the other day with a friend of mine. And we hadn't spoken in a very long time. And we at first came because there was a question. It was like, oh, this happened. So we were like, okay, well, what happened? And so we started talking. We're like, oh, great. And we understood. And it took our friendship to another level because of viewpoints, right? Well, what happened there? Oh, well, this is what, I get it. Oh, I get yours too. Great. How can we work together to solve a problem? And so that's why I wanted to come on. I just wanted to come on and say happy Independence Day for you guys here in the United States. And happy independence for everyone else in the world, because you are an independent being who is powerful and is creative. And even in the dark times, this does not stop. You can still be creative and still create and see hope. And it's easy, guys. The difference between seeing darkness and light is just the choice. It actually, I think, takes more energy to sit in the darkness because when you're heavy and you're worried and you got this problem, it weighs on you like a heaviness. What if you just stopped that and looked at solutions? What can I do to take action? Because this thing gets you stuck, right? You get stuck. So you take action and get you moving toward a solution. So Zoom productions have grown during this pandemic. Yeah, I mean, Zoom's a great platform, The key is, and here I'll get into something on that on a different subject. I mentioned this early on in the pandemic when a lot of my performer friends were doing, you know, fundraisers and free things, which I think is awesome. And then the 2 week lockdown, because remember, it's only supposed to be 2 weeks, turned into 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We're going, Broadway will be almost a year by the time it comes back. We have another 6 months. And I said, we should still continue to do these fundraisers, but we also need to look at ways to create funds to help you survive. Because if you don't, you will eventually be the person partaking of the charity that you are raising money for. And there's nothing wrong with making money. There's nothing wrong with it. You need it in this world. You know, wouldn't it be great if you didn't have to have it? Like if it was like, you know, a different society, a different world, maybe in the future. But for now, you have to be able to survive. And so Zoom, for example, is a way to do that. There are ways to generate income. And again, I'm working with a very, 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 very prominent Broadway star. And I am collaborating him. Well, not collaborating. I'm basically going, hey, do this, 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 and this. And he's like, wow, dude, oh, that's awesome. And it's working, right? There are ways to take what you do and pivot it to create. And it creates independence. You talk about independence, financial independence. If you guys were financially independent right now and didn't have to worry about it, especially my artist friends, it would take the burden away. We would be able to create, we could stem the flow. And so it is something that I want to do because my goal is to help. And it truly is to help people grow and create the independence so that they have the creative freedom. And what did the Dalai Lama say? Creativity. Without freedom, creativity cannot exist. And he means freedom in many ways. I mean, obviously, in different political states, there is no freedom or limited freedom. So freedom of expression doesn't exist. Freedom of religion doesn't exist. To create doesn't exist. In some places, you can't create something that has an opposing viewpoint. You're arrested, thrown in jail. And I'm not saying create things that hurt. But satire, for example, shines lights on things sometimes. There's a whole theatrical world of satire. So without freedom, creativity cannot exist. So if you guys, my artists, don't have financial freedom, how are you going to create the way you are meant to create? Because we're stuck worrying about making ends meet, paying the bills, stemming the flow, getting extra money from the government. And so the programs that I've launched, which I wasn't even talking about this, it's not the reason I started this. The programs I created, the Art of Survival Guide, and this webinar, by the way, guys, it's a free webinar on July 12th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And for those of you guys who signed up already, you should have gotten an email. You have to register. So check your email. You have to register for the webinar. Just signing up for it doesn't get you in. You'll get an email and you have to register because there's a limited number of spots. And if you don't register, someone else is going to get your spot. So check your emails and make sure you register. Click the link in your email. I'll put another link in here for you as well. And the thing that I created is not just to create financial independence. It's to create independence, period. This is going to be live, Sandra. I don't know that I'm going to... I'm going to be offering something on the webinar, which is very, very limited. And it's once I talk about it on the webinar, there's a certain date that it shuts off. And so I may be able to have that edited out and put up. Let me see. Right now, we're just doing it live one time. I may do others later on. But, send me a message and we'll chat about that. I'm going to get the link. If anybody has the link in front of them, let me know and they can put it in there. Where is it? I'm trying to find the link so I can put it in. Where is it? Where is it? So does this make sense? It's not just for, oh, there it is. It's not just for making money. It's literally creating independence. If you got all the money in the world, cool. Come on anyway, because I'm going to show you things that you can do to increase what you're doing. Like Sandra's got a great photography business. I'm going to show ways to literally increase her business. If you're an accountant, I'm going to show you ways that you can increase what is going on with your company. These are basic skill sets that in the entrepreneurial and marketing worlds have never been taught to people outside those worlds. And I did this video the other day for artists. It's not your fault. We've just never been taught them. And when you see them and you understand them and they're actually creative, you go, oh my God, really? That's possible? Yeah. And you don't have to stop doing what you're doing. And once Broadway's back, and once film is back, and once TV's back, which TV and film are starting to come back, slowly, you'll still be able to do these things while you're pursuing your main dream. It's crazy. Independence. Independence. I want to be a dentist. Independence. Remember that? All right. So I'm going to leave you with this so you guys can go and have a wonderful July 4th here in the U.S., whatever you guys are doing. And for those of you not in the United States, I wish you a very happy Saturday. Where's my little thing? Where is it? Where is it? Oh, there it is. So I'm going to read this to you one more time. So on this Independence Day 2020, I offer you these words from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Without freedom, creativity cannot flourish. The right to freedom is crucial to progress in any society, and the context is having a sense of global responsibility. So, what are you going to do today to make the world a better place? One thing. Just do one thing. Post something happy. Say something happy. Call somebody you haven't spoken to in a while. Change their life. Make them smile. Tell them a joke. Do something fun. You certainly make my life better. I'm grateful for it. And that's it. So have a wonderful day. And hey, if you want to come onto the webinar, click that link. It's totally free, July 12th, and we'll have some fun. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. Have a wonderful weekend. See you later.